Hi, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys. All right. Let's see. All right, go ahead and tell me, can you guys all see this?
Yep, we're getting it.
Great, cool. Hi, everyone. I am Sunn. I am the Southwest Arizona Logistics Coordinator, and I'm also a certified health coach. So we're going to talk about fueling your body for the field today. Just a quick disclaimer, I am not a doctor, I am not a dietitian, and if there are any changes that you want to make for your health, it's always a great idea to talk with your doctor or practitioner before starting, but I'm always an advocate for eating healthier. So let's get started. Great. So what we'll be covering today, we're going to start with our macronutrients and micronutrients, so just basics of nutrition. Then we're going to talk about eating for an active lifestyle, talk about calories and nutrients, specifically with having an active lifestyle, and considerations with that, and where to begin if you want to start eating a healthier diet. All right, so let's start with macronutrients. All right, so carbohydrates. So there are three main macronutrients. There's carbs, protein, and fat. So we're gonna do a quick overview of all of these and why we need them. So carbohydrates are our body's main ideal source of fuel for energy because they're easier to break down and much easier to absorb. Yeah, ideally, they make up the majority of your calories, so 45 to 65% of your daily calories come from carbs. They break down into glucose, the molecule that your mitochondria and your cells use to create energy. So if you guys know about mitochondria, they're the little cell organelles within your cells that are the powerhouse for your energy. They are classified as either simple or complex based on their molecular structure. So there's larger and smaller molecular structures when it comes to carbs. Examples of simple carbs are sugar, fruit, refined grains, and then examples of complex carbohydrates, they are, complex carbohydrates are broken down a lot more slowly because they have a much longer molecular structure, so they give you longer and sustained energy. So simple carbs are, fast energy. You eat something real quick, you feel that, you're good to go. And a complex carbohydrate is a lot slower. It's broken down over a longer period of time. So again, simple carbs would be like sugar, fruit, refined grains like white bread, and then complex carbohydrates would be things like sweet potatoes, starchy like root vegetables, whole grains, things of that nature. And they're going to, again, give you that longer curve of energy. So if you can think of, in the morning, if you wake up and you immediately have a donut or, a super sugary fruit like a banana, you can feel that burst of energy immediately. And then sometimes you'll start to feel that crash pretty immediate as well. So if you eat like a super sugary donut and then all of a sudden within 20 minutes to an hour, your energy just plummets, that's that quick, simple sugar getting into your bloodstream, getting into your cells, giving you that quick energy, and then it's used, burned, and depleted. So fats. Fats are necessary for healthy tissues such as our skin, our nails, our hair, the walls of our organs, etc. They should, in a typical diet, make up about 20 to 35% of your calories. They are also what feed and help us to create our healthy hormones. And because of that, they control growth, the function of our immunity, reproduction, and other aspects of basic metabolism that we need to function. They are a great source of sustainable fuel because they're much harder and they take a lot longer to break down. They also supply more calories per gram than any other macronutrient. So with protein and carbohydrates, they have 4 grams, 4 calories per gram. And with fats, they supply 9 calories per gram. So that's more than half or more than double the amount of calories per gram of fat than the other macronutrients. So not all fats are equal. Fats to limit are saturated fats, such as animal fats, trans fats, which are in a lot of processed foods because they have the ability to block your arteries and they can create high blood pressure and heart disease because of that. All right, so protein. Protein provides provides our amino acids, which are the essential building blocks to building our muscles as well as our brains and our nervous system. They mostly constitute about 10 to 35% of your daily calories. Your body can create 11 amino acids on its own. However, there are 9 essential amino acids your body needs daily, and it needs to get that through food. Foods with complete amino acid profiles, which are, all of those building blocks that you need, are mostly animal products such as meat, eggs, dairy products, but there are also a couple of plant-based foods that you can get all of your amino acids from, such as quinoa. Incomplete proteins need to be eaten throughout the day to build a complete amino profile. So examples of incomplete or complete protein pairs would be whole grains and beans, so beans and rice, beans and amaranth or wild grain, things like that. Whole grains and nuts, so a whole grain piece of bread with peanut butter on top, almond butter, something like that. Nuts and seeds, so hummus, you have tahini in there, which is sesame seed paste, and then you have, it would be beans and seeds would be tahini and garbanzo beans, and that would give you that complete amino profile that you need. You should diversify your protein sources throughout the week and throughout the day as well to make sure that you're getting all of the essential nutrients that you need and all of those aminos that you need. Over time, a diet too high in protein, especially animal protein, can be harmful to your health. The digestion process can put strain on your liver and your kidneys, leading to disease and damage. So it's good to eat, a good amount of protein, but make sure that you're not overdoing it. And, you see things like the carnivore diet where people are only eating animal protein all day long. And maybe for a little bit, they're feeling pretty good and sustained, but over time, they'll start to see a lot of damage to their internal organs. So now we're going to talk about micronutrients. And micronutrients are the vitamins and the minerals within your food that play an essential role in your overall health. Some examples of these nutrients are vitamins such as vitamin A and D and B, and minerals such as iron, magnesium, zinc. These nutrients support basically every bodily function you need to survive. So they don't supply calories, however, they supply everything else that we need. Many of these vitamins and minerals are what give the diverse colors within our foods. So those are called phytonutrients. And getting a variety of colors is important to ensure that you're getting all of the nutrients that you need. So if you're getting, you know, reds and oranges and purples and greens, you're getting a large, diverse amount of nutrients and a diverse amount of phytonutrients within those foods so that you're covering all of your bases and giving your body all of the nutrients that it needs to function properly. So most processed foods are void of micronutrients because of the refining process that the ingredients go through. Some foods such as cereals and bread products have these nutrients added back in, and this is a process called fortification. So you see, you know, fortified cereal, that's cereal that the grain went through this whole refining process, most of the nutrients were removed from it, and then that company added those nutrients back in so that you're still getting them, but you're not getting them to the best caliber as if you were getting them directly through your food source. And this is a link, but I don't think it's gonna work right now. If you guys are interested in this, this is a great link from Oregon State University, and it has every single micronutrient that you need that's available on this earth. So all vitamins and minerals, and it just tells you where to get them from, why they're important, what they do. It's just a really great, cool, comprehensive list. Right. So let's go over eating for an active lifestyle. And I know all of us on this call have a pretty active lifestyle, whether you're a current member, project manager, or, you know, working in the warehouse like me. We move a lot throughout the day, and therefore we have a lot of different needs than someone who's sedentary most of the time. All right, so accounting for our calories. Due to the labor heavy nature of our jobs, again, working in the field, you burn a lot more calories and you require more nutrients. Your basal metabolic rate, or your BMR, is the amount of energy or calories that you need from your food to run basic life systems such as breathing, heart pumping, digestion, all of those things that your body does without you thinking. So you don't have to worry about it, it just does it itself. So this is about 60 to 70% of the calories that you burn in a day. And in general, men have a higher BMR than women. So we're gonna do something exciting and figure out our BMRs. I bet you guys didn't think that you were gonna come to this doing math. However, we're gonna do some math. So one of the most accurate methods of establishing or estimating your basal metabolic rate is this Harris-Benedict formula. So there's a lot of formulas out there. They're all just slightly different. And I think there's just different studies behind them. And but this one is kind of the tried and true. If you were to go see a dietitian or your doctor, this is most likely the formula that they would use. So if you guys have some calculators out there, you can calculate your BMR. And there are systems and you know, computer systems online. If you want to look up your BMR and you don't feel like doing the long addition and multiplication and whatnot, and you're feeling a little bit lazy. But right now, we're just gonna do it the old-fashioned way. So again, males have a higher BMR than females, so the equation is gonna be different. So if you, again, wanna grab your phones or your calculators, and if you're a male, it would be 88.362 plus your weight in kilograms. And down here I have how to convert your weight to kilograms. So you divide that by 2.2046. So since we don't use that system, if you want to divide your pounds by that number and then multiply to 13.397, and then you're going to add that to 4.799 to your height in centimeters. And then again, if you need your height in centimeters, just multiply the amount of inches. So to go from feet to inches, times it by 12, and then multiply that by 2.54. And then you're going to subtract 5.677 times your age in years. And then the females, again, the formula is a little bit different. So if you guys want to go ahead and find your BMRs, we're going to use that to determine the amount of calories that we need per day with the amount of activity that we do. So if I were to take this and take your average 25-year-old male who's 6 foot tall, 175 pounds, we would take his weight in kilograms, so that would be 79.38, and his amount of his height in centimeters would be 182.88 centimeters. So with this equation, it would come out to about 1,887 calories just for his basal metabolic rate. So that's again for him to breathe, for him to blink, for his blood to pump, for his heart to work, for his digestion to work. He needs almost 2,000 calories a day, which is quite a lot of calories. And then we're going to take that and figure out how many calories he needs if he were, say, a member or doing a lot of work throughout the day that required a lot of physical labor. So does anybody want to share their BMR and what they found? I can give you guys a little bit of time to find that.
Son, this is Kian. I think I got mine.
Okay.
I was trying to do all the calculations. Looks like mine is 1841.
Sounds about right. Do you think you eat quite a lot more calories than that?
I have no idea how many calories I eat. I could barely use this presentation. I'm terrible. I haven't eaten anything today. So
yeah, that's a good way to not get enough calories is skipping meals. But also, on the flip side, a great way to get enough calories is start eating early in the morning and then getting your digestive system going and getting yourself hungry to actually eat throughout the day. Cool. Thanks, Kian. Does anybody else want to share theirs?
I got, if I did it right, because I did it twice and I messed up the first time, I think, but I got 1,359 around.
Nice. Yeah, I think mine is around 14,000. So cool. It's just a fun number to know. Again, by all means, we don't need to remember this every time that we eat something and try to become obsessive about it, thinking about what we're eating throughout the day and how much we're getting and if we're getting enough or we're not getting enough. But it is kind of cool to just know and stick in the back of our minds, like, this is about how much I need just to function. And yeah, it's just interesting. And again, it's just all of your basic needs to keep yourself alive. So we're going to take that number and we're going to do another quick equation this time. And we're going to figure out how many calories we need based on our exercise level. So I would say, you know, for the average member, I would say that we're very heavily exercising, if not more than that. So we're going to use that equation just to see. And then again, use your own discernment on how much, maybe how much you're doing right now, or if you're a project manager, how much you would need if you were out there with a crew, to see how many calories you need. So if we take that 25-year-old male, and we use this equation, let me pull up, I already did all of the math because I am not good at math. And we, again, times that 1,887 calories by 1.9, we've got 3,585 calories. So that's if he's doing very heavy exercise, again, working all day long, 10-hour days, swinging a pick, or using, you know, a McLeod or something, building trail. That's quite a bit of work, and that requires quite a bit of calories. So that's inching up to 4,000 calories a day, which is pretty crazy. And I don't think your average adult male gets that many calories in a day. However, if you were doing something like restoration and maybe you're walking around with a backpack sprayer, or you're going and digging some holes to plant some trees in, it might vary a little bit. Again, use your own discernment about how heavy that is, if that's just heavy exercise or very heavy exercise. It's going to depend on the project for sure. But your body also has a good way of telling you when you're not getting enough calories and you're exercising too much. And that's when you start to feel lethargic, you start to feel grumpy all of the time. You've got crazy, again, mood swings, but also energy swings. That's usually when you're not getting enough calories and your body is trying to keep itself going without that fuel source. So does anybody want to share how many calories they need for the typical workday?
Going off of the heavy exercise, I would need 2,345 calories.
That's quite a bit. Anybody else? Anybody have a shocking number?
Mine is not shocking. I also probably put myself in the light exercise category because I do sit behind a desk most of the time now. Get out in the field much, but mine's like 25. Looks like 2,500.
Okay, that's still more than you know, the average person. I think they tend to say 2,000 calories a day. That's why I think it's good to know your own individual BMR and then how much you're doing personally, because we're all different, so we all have different needs. Well, thanks for sharing. All right. So, nutrients to consider with a super heavy and high intensity lifestyle when you're doing a lot of work, whether you're out in the field again or just at the gym a lot. So there's no guideline for mineral and vitamin supplementation for those that live a more active lifestyle. However, being extremely active can add some strains to and nutritional balances to your system. So some vitamins to consider increasing in your diet when you live a more active lifestyle would be calcium. These are all micronutrients, so calcium to support the excess stress on your bones and your joints, and you can get that through green vegetables, fortified milks, nut milks, soy, nuts. So fun fact is that milk doesn't have a whole lot of calcium, but again, it goes through that fortification process where the supplier adds calcium back in. The same thing with nut milks. They have they're fortified with calcium. So they've just got that mineral added back in to the product. Vitamin D is the same reason. It's good for your bones, for your joints, for your overall mood too. And you can get that from fish, from eggs, mushrooms, vegetables, stone fruit. So that would be like plums, let's see, nectarines, things of that nature. And then you have your electrolytes. So I think we all know that when you're working really hard out in the field and you're sweating and you know, moving your body a lot, you're losing a lot of those electrolytes because your body is using them very fast, and it needs those for your muscle contractions and your muscles to work well. So potassium is great. White potatoes are very high in potassium. Bananas, I think, are like the typical what we think of when we think of potassium. Leafy greens, beans, and then you've got magnesium, again, for the same reason. So greens, nuts, beans, whole grain, chocolate, and then sodium, which when we're in the field, we get quite a bit of sodium, and the average American gets, you know, too much sodium actually. So sodium isn't the one to worry too much about, but the other electrolytes are very important since they're a little bit harder to come by. And you'll see a lot of these have overlap. So you see green vegetables quite a bit. Vegetables in general are pretty high in micronutrients. So again, just enforcing that, getting a lot of different foods in your system and a lot of different nutrients to just make sure that you're covering all of your bases and your body is healthy and happy and working well. So eating consistently throughout the day is important to prevent blood sugar crashes. So again, we're talking about that when your energy just plummets and you feel icky, you don't want to do anything, you're lethargic, you're, again, those mood swings, you're unpredictable, you don't feel like yourself anymore. So it's best to eat meals that you consume, or meals you consume. It's best for those meals to have all three micronutrients. So your protein, or macronutrients, sorry, your protein, your fat, and your carbs. And for your snacks to contain protein, fiber, and fats. So snacks and meals are that are only sugar burn quickly, again, spiking your blood sugar and then plummeting past your basal point. So, you know, you're here, you eat something super sugary, and there's nothing else to keep it in your system and help it burn slower. You're gonna get this huge spike, and then you're gonna get a plummet that actually plummets past your basal point from where you were. So you're gonna feel crappier than you were feeling. And then another side effect with that might be anxiety, because your body, when your body feels that huge crash in energy, it spikes your cortisol to get that sugar and that energy back up, because it thinks, oh gosh, we're gonna die. If we don't have sugar, we don't have any energy, we can't run all of our systems, our blood's gonna stop pumping, whatnot. Spikes your cortisol, gets that sugar back up, and then you're left feeling really shaky and pretty anxious. So, so it's important for all of your meals, again, to have those a good collection of all of those macronutrients. And then with your snacks, having a nice fat and good fiber in with that is helpful for keeping that energy going consistently. So again, you're not having that crash. So some good snacks are apples and peanut butter, black beans and avocado, smoothies with, you know, mangoes. So you're getting those carbs and those sugars, but also protein powder, almond milk. And then I would also probably add something like almond butter or avocado or something to give it some fat. And then hummus and crackers. So again, I like to eat fats that are, or snacks that are high in fat, because again, they give you that very slow long burning energy, because they're a lot harder to break down than that quick burst of sugary energy. Even if it's just, you know, a piece of fruit sometimes can give you that quick and then plummet. So that's great for if you're, you know, running a quick sprint and you need that fast energy. You know, they make those little energy gels that gives you all of that energy and all that sugar and calories to your system. You go and you burn it and then you're good, and maybe you'll eat something afterwards. But if you're doing something like, you know, a long run and you're running for, you know, half a marathon or something, you want to have that fuel in your system that's going to make it go for a long period of time, so you don't have to stop and eat something because all of a sudden you're crashing. So it's similar in the field. If you're, you know, you want to be able to burn all day long, have all of your energy all day long, and be consistent throughout the day, so that you, one, feel good, but also you're not kind of a nuisance and a negative Nelly to everyone around you. All right, so here's some calorie and nutrient dense foods. So these are great foods for on hitch, if you're going hiking, backpacking, something like that. So salted nuts and nut butters, again, going back to that fact that fats have a lot more calories than any other macronutrient. So it's going to be easiest for you to get all of your calories if you're eating a very high fat diet or high fat meal. So oils, again, just adding olive oil or coconut oil to a meal can actually increase the calories quite a bit, which is really good for when you're working really hard and you're burning a lot of calories. So it takes that, you know, meal that might not have a whole lot and adds a lot of extra calories into it without having to add a, you know, a whole bunch of other ingredients to it. So whole grains, cheeses, granola, hummus, again with that fat, Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt has more calories than regular yogurt, just again because it has more fat in it, and it also has more protein. So it's a pretty good meal, or pretty good additive to a meal if you're needing more calories. Canned tuna, trail mix, power bars. They make meal bars now that have something like 400 calories in them, and you know, you eat a meal bar and then you eat something else as a snack, and that's quite a lot of calories in it to help keep you going if you're hiking a long distance or something like that. So these are all great for, again, carrying with you, for just sitting down and having a quick snack, and then that way you're getting your calories throughout the day. All right, so some meal ideas for in the field or at home. Again, if you're on project or if you're going backpacking. So olive oil, fried rice, getting that oil in there to increase the calories. Long grain rice, lean chicken or beans, mixed vegetables, having all of those, you know, a variety of nutrients in that meal. Whole grain spaghetti with diced tomatoes, peppers, mushrooms, cheese, turkey meatballs or veggie meatballs. And the reason I put turkey meatballs down there is because turkey has a lot less fat than, you know, that saturated fat that we don't want too much of, as opposed to something like meat or something like beef meatballs, which will have a little bit more fat in it. Whole wheat tortillas, hummus, vegetables, great vegetarian option for getting all of those calories. Taco salad with mixed greens, diced tomatoes, corn, grilled chicken, tempeh, avocado. So I found that salads, or you know, a lot of people have coined them as mosh bowls, when you add just a bunch of ingredients all together, add some seasoning, and it tastes great because it's just a bunch of good ingredients. Those are probably the easiest ways to get a lot of calories and a lot of nutrients in one meal, and a diversity of nutrients without it being super, you know, intense, without you having to do a lot of prep work, without having to know how to cook a certain way. I personally am not a good chef, so most of my meals are like that, just a bunch of stuff thrown together, and it tastes great because, again, you can season it. So where to begin? If you are interested in improving your lifestyle, improving your diet, or adding some of these things into your diet, whether it be when you're on project or if you're just, going for a hike or, just for everyday life. So eating and improving your diet can seem pretty overwhelming and a little bit challenging in the beginning, especially depending on where you're starting from. It's very easy to get into a habitual eating style, eating the same thing most days, and also decreasing our body's ability to get all of the essential nutrients. We can all be guilty of this. I'm definitely guilty of this, especially if I'm not in the mood for anything. It's super easy just to throw together the same thing that you always eat. However, it goes back to that, making sure you're getting a variety of nutrients, a variety of colors, a variety of foods. So maybe just switching out if you're in a rut and you don't feel like making anything super fancy, just making sure that you're kind of switching out those ingredients every now and then to make sure that you're getting, again, that variety in. So with any large change, it's important to have a super healthy mindset. So as with anything, if we don't believe that we can do it, then we'll surely fail. So to again, break this cycle, set a motivating reason for why you want to eat healthy or why you want to improve your lifestyle. So great ones are to gain muscle, to, again, run a marathon, to feel better, to, be a beast in the field, to have a better mood, to be nicer to the people around you. There's so many reasons to eat better and have a better, healthier lifestyle. So make smart and exciting goals. So if you don't know what SMART goals are, they're specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time-bound. And what that does is it makes it so, we're shooting past our comfort point, but we're not shooting for the moon and getting overwhelmed and giving up immediately. So it gives it, again, that achievable, it's realistic, it feels good, it's exciting, but we're, again, not feeling like we're beating ourselves up when we can't do it. Also having it measurable, it makes it so there's an end goal. If I say, I want to eat healthier and then go about my day, there's no way of telling, what I did, and it's not, it's not giving me the ability to know what to do. So a SMART goal would be, I'm going to eat broccoli 3 days a week. And then you can measure that. That's pretty realistic. It's pretty easy. It doesn't really matter how you eat that broccoli. You can make it any way you want. However, you can check those boxes off and look back and go, okay, I ate broccoli 2 times this week. That's pretty great. I got, 2/3 of the way there. So it, again, gives you that ability to measure it, but also that ability to look back and go like, wow, I did a good job. I did a pretty great job, even though I didn't fulfill this goal, or I did fulfill this goal and I freaking rock. That's cool too. So be mindful of how you eat currently. It's hard to make a change if you don't know what needs to be changed. So again, being mindful, paying attention to what you're eating, it doesn't mean that you're judging what you're eating, but it means like, this is interesting. This is what I eat normally when I'm bored, or this is what I eat when I am rushing out the door and don't know what else to grab. And it gives you those reasons for why we eat the way we eat, but also it gives you that base point to say, this is how I'm eating, and this is what I want to add in, or this is how I want to change. So crowd out all of the less than desired foods with healthier options instead of quitting and replacing them cold turkey. So some people that works. I'm pretty good at stopping things cold turkey, but a lot of us are not. And I've found that as I get older, it's a lot harder for me to do that. So it's easier and it's a lot more enjoyable of a process if you start to crowd out the bad thing. So whether it's, you know, you eat this really sugary cereal in the morning, every morning, and you want to stop doing that, or you want to replace it with something healthier. Maybe still having that cereal, but maybe having it in the afternoon, or you know, having that cereal and then adding something to it that makes it feel a little bit better and feel a little bit healthier. So again, just incorporating more foods into your diet and incorporating healthier foods into your diet instead of quitting all of the bad things. And then celebrate yourself. It's just an amazing step to even think about improving your health. And every small action forward counts as a success. You don't have to, again, completely quit everything, become a raw vegan and only eat vegetables all of the time. You know, just the thought and the mindset of being healthier can go such a long way, whether it's actually making a change or just starting to think about making a change. All right, and I wanted to leave some time for us to ask some questions. Again, I am the logistics coordinator at Southwest Arizona, so I've been packing food for about 3.5 years now. And I try to keep these type of things in mind when I am packing for people. So if you guys have any questions, whether it's about food in general, eating, you know, just for everyday life, or if it's eating, you know, on project, or packing for yourself when you're going for a backpacking trip, I want to be here to answer those questions. So if you have any questions, just go ahead and, I don't know, you can unmute yourself or you can raise your hand and I can call on you. No questions at all? You've all got this?
Well, I certainly don't know if I have it, but it's going to be more about making those changes than questions I have at the moment, at least.
Yeah, and again, it can be a fun process. If you want to live a healthier lifestyle, there's ways to make it fun. You know, whether it's making, you know, the big thing is ice cream right now. So instead of making ice cream, you make, you know, basically a smoothie that's really thick and tastes like ice cream. So there's fun ways of incorporating healthier foods into your diet. And there's definitely a fun way to make it like exciting, trying new recipes, making it, it's always helpful to have a friend to do it with you, whether they are your accountability partner or it's, you know, that bonding time for you guys to cook once a night or, you know, just bond over that and then tell them, you know, I did this and I feel really good about it, and have that reinforcement of like, wow, that's great. You did a great job.
Sunn, what kind of snacks would you recommend if people were going to bring their own kind of snacks to supplement their changes into the fields, whether it's like front country or back country? What are some things that maybe you don't particularly pack because of your own restrictions, but that other people could look into bringing for themselves that would last a long time and also fit into this kind of realm?
Yeah, that's a great question. So for me personally, when I first started ACE, I'm a vegan, and I was a vegan at that time. So I brought a lot of supplements for myself. And again, keeping that higher calorie needs in mind, I brought protein powder with me. So, you know, we supply milk, almond milk, things like that. Or, you know, a lot of proteins you can mix with water, and they're not bad tasting. So I would personally bring protein powder. Sometimes I would add it to the oatmeal. And again, giving me those nutrients that I needed and just a little bit more of the protein in the morning that I personally needed and my body needs to feel good. Some great snacks would be, again, going back to meal bars. So I think there's a lot of different brands that create meal bars that are pretty high in calories, they're pretty high in nutrients, have all of the vitamins and whatnot that you need. So those are great. They're super lightweight, so they're good to bring with you backpacking. And they're great if you don't feel like sitting down and making a meal, or you're not hungry enough to eat a whole meal. Trail mixes, nuts, I'm always a huge fan of those. For longer backpacking trips, I always recommend bringing oils with you. So, coconut oil is very high in calories, and it's a great way to incorporate that into your diet, especially for, like a through hiking trip. I know a lot of through hikers that hike the AT, and they would just bring a huge bottle of olive oil with them and literally just drink that throughout the day, which sounds disgusting. I'd rather eat coconut oil, but it was giving them those calories that they needed and replenishing their body throughout the day. So that's always a great way. You don't have to bring a huge bottle of olive oil with you, but just a little bit of oil to cook your food with, to make sure, again, you're adding those calories in. Tuna packets are great, especially for backcountry. Again, tuna has a good amount of protein in it, and then it's also got some really good fats in it. So it's higher in calories, and it's also really good for, again, your skin, your organs, your hair, your nails, your hormones, keeping everything running. Yeah, I think that's about everything. I'm always about nuts and trail mixes, and if you can't do nuts because you're allergic or whatever, or they don't sit well with you, some great ones are seeds, if you can do seeds. So sunflower seed butter is a great replacement. Sunflower seeds in general, pumpkin seeds, bringing hemp seeds with you. I was a huge fan of bringing things to add on top of my oatmeal in the morning. So if you're using the plain oatmeal or the flavored oatmeal that we provide you, adding on peanut butter on top of that, again, adding that protein, those calories, that fat, and then also some granola or dried fruit or whatever you want to add on top of that. Then you're taking that meal that might not be very high in calories or a whole bunch of nutrients, and then you're adding on top of it, making it tastier, but also adding a bunch more calories to it and a bunch more nutrients that you need. Any other questions? Well, we don't have any more questions. We're a little bit early, but this is my email. If you have any questions, if you think of anything along the way, if you're, again, planning for a trip or anything, feel free to shoot me an email. I'm happy to help. I'm happy to share my menus with you. Happy to share my packing list as well. If you're curious what is normally packed in a day. I'm here as a resource in any way. So again, feel free to reach out and or just say hi. So, thank you guys so much for coming. This was really fun. I hope that you got a lot out of it. I hope that this is helpful for you, as we ramp back up, and whether you're out in the field or working in the office, you can use this, and it's something that we can all use and all utilize every single day of our lives. So thanks again. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for your time. This was really interesting and useful.
Thank you. I'm glad.
Yeah, thanks a bunch, Sunn.
Thanks, Sunn.
Thanks, guys.